In English, we're about to start the landing process. We're going to orientate the spacecraft in the right direction so that the engines are pointing to brake us in our maneuver towards the moon. We're now about 850 kilometers from our landing site. We're at an altitude of 25 kilometers. We hope we've measured it correctly. We think we've done that to an accuracy of about 100 meters, which is amazing at the range we're at right now. And the whole process will take us about 21 minutes. So we are now orienting the spacecraft. We've used the engines on the circumference of the spacecraft in order to get it in the right direction. And in about a minute or two, we will start firing the main engine to start braking the spacecraft. We have passed the point of no return. We are in the landing process. So we are in the braking process. The braking process is working well. You can see the spacecraft slowing down. You can see the velocity as we are slowing down. And the spacecraft is doing exactly what it's supposed to do right now. So this wonderful selfie picture from an altitude of about 22 kilometers is on the background of the moon as we are approaching the landing site. We currently have a problem in one of our inertial measurement units. We lost telemetry for a few moments, and now we've got telemetry back again. We seem to have a problem with our main engine. We are resetting the spacecraft to try to enable the engine. The main engine is back on, but we've lost communication with the spacecraft. We had a failure in the spacecraft. We unfortunately have not managed to land successfully. We are the 7th country to orbit the moon and the 4th to reach the moon's surface. And it's a tremendous achievement up to now.
Well, we didn't make it, but we definitely tried. And I think that the achievement of getting to where we got is really tremendous. I think we can be proud.
For more than 50 years, we've been pretending to send things to the moon, and we've done quite well at pretending that we're going there and doing these things, other than some few minor mistakes that have really exposed the fraud. But here lately, Israel is trying to become the 4th country if they can beat India, who was also in some sort of a space race that we didn't even know existed until current times. But here is their bird nest of wires that will be wrapped in foil for safekeeping so that it doesn't fall apart when it lands. And but that's not the most impressive part about this thing. Let's look at the impressive camera this thing has attached to it. It's a camera, the exact one you see here. They have somehow mounted this thing to where it can take some cool photos. And let's look at these pictures of Earth, because here's one of them, here's another, and another, and a further away shot of Earth. But if you aren't very good at paying attention and investigating the details, you would not catch the fact that this picture should probably look like this. And the quality of the Earth in this picture should match the one in this picture. But it doesn't, because it should. It's the same camera. But it's definitely not matching up. And the sunlight on this flag, or banner, is darker than the sunlight on this flag. Maybe it was cloudy in space that day, I'm not really sure, but that should not be happening with the same camera and the same sun from deep space. Shouldn't happen. And the angles should also never change. I get it, the camera might be set to swivel a little bit, I don't know, but there definitely should not be a perfect square around the circular Earth that we see again here, as we have seen many times before. But I know many of you will say this is JPEG compression, that's all it is, that makes this perfect square around the circular Earth. But that's not what's really odd. Let's look at the lines when you adjust the levels. These lines should not go behind the Earth and behind the banner and behind the other elements, but they do. It's as if these other elements have been pasted on in front of them. So you have these perfectly vertical lines. And just like in the first picture we looked at in another video, those lines are there. They go behind the globe. They reappear at the bottom of the globe. That's just odd. That should definitely not happen in a photo. The lines would be in front of all of the objects, if anything. But if all of this isn't convincing enough that there's fraud, look at this shot of the sunrise you see here. Nothing out of the ordinary until you realize that the same exact lens now has a yellow haze around it. As if they've added some sort of special filter. This haze wasn't there before, and they are in the vacuum of space. And then you see the leg just shoot out, and it all happens within one frame. You can see here, it just pops into existence. Not there, then it's there. So very, very cool photos of Earth that are super fake, horribly fake. And it's sad that we are buying this. People think, well, Israel, that's God's people. God's people are all around the earth. They will be gathered up in the end. There is no specific place where his people are just located and everyone else is not his people. Okay, these people are lying. They're using the name Bereshit, which is basically the first words in the Bible, to deceive us. Very sad that they're doing that, similar to the Apollo astronauts reading the Bible on their way to the moon. But there's a reason that SpaceX, NASA, China, India, Israel are all of a sudden in a space race to go to the moon. And it's not to go there and set up a base. It's to show us what Earth looks like. The same mission they had with our first space race. It's not going to change. SpaceX sending artists to the moon is a joke. They're not going to send real people like you and I. Just actors and Illuminati puppets. This whole world is a stage. People are being deceived. Our children, our parents, our grandparents. There's some major deceptions out there. And the reason that I keep trying to expose a lot of this isn't because I want to entertain anyone or anything like that. Yes, it can be funny at times when they mess up. But the purpose behind this lie is for spiritual reasons. There is some financial gain to those involved, but that's not the real reason. It's a lot deeper than that. I'm going to work on answering the why one more time. I don't feel like I did a good enough job answering that my first time around because I was skating around some of the truths in hopes that I wouldn't lose people along the way. But the truth needs to be told. We're definitely getting that out there very soon. But just wanted to point out the recent fraud and can't wait to see the images that India produces. Maybe they'll be as good as Israel's.